Hello, I'm Kat, and welcome to today's video. Once again, the portal is alight with the lovely blue hue, but it is not a Sunday. We're pulling actually on a Friday, so we have a couple of good reasons to do this, but of course, the primary reason for pulling at all, because I'm never pulling without a purpose, is to max out the Champion Chase in terms of Titan event points. So thus far, I've managed to collect all available Titan event points, so I'm kind of safely padding myself in preparation for the ending events. That way I can just kind of skip those. I typically don't opt to skip the summoning events because I do happen to have an abundance of shards, so it's not really that much of a problem for me. And I like to get new champions here and there. So yeah, we are going to be maxing out the Champion Chase. Now, definitely higher milestones than expected up there at the 6,300 to guarantee all 300 of the points. But I guess the trade-off there is that it is 2x Ancients at least, and so it's a lot easier to get out to higher amounts of points with Ancient Shards because they should be the most abundant shard type on any player's account. And typically, you're not really using them outside of 2x Ancients, at least in the modern era. But let me know if you guys have a different strategy when it comes to Ancient Shards. But I know I definitely tend to accumulate a lot of them waiting for events like these, especially if there aren't any ancient Pogos that I'm in range of. But I digress. So a couple of reasons why we're pulling on the first day, which for me is outside of the norm. One, there is a champion training going on right now. So there is the champion training event going on right now. And so I want to, in case I happen to get someone new that I want to build immediately, I have a bunch of chickens ready to go waiting for them. And so I'd want to do that during the champion training event. You can see, obviously it'll go through Sunday, but I just want to get a head start. I want to be able to train them up during the event, not necessarily on the last day. So just in case you happen to get someone new, you never know. But more importantly, there is a 10x over the first couple of days of the weekend. So if I waited till Sunday, I'd miss out on the slightly higher chance to get Glorious Palace. Granted, the 10x, if you get a legendary, it means it's roughly like a 4% chance that she's going to be the one that pops out. So it's very, very low. Very, very unlikely that she's going to pop out if you get a legendary. But nonetheless, might as well try because she is a really solid reviver for the new faction, the Argonites. And I wouldn't have any plans to immediately use her at all, but it would be nice to have her in the back pocket for when the faction crypt opens, or if and when they add Argonites to restrictive content in the future. Now, in terms of the overall shard count, my account at the moment, we have 552 on the Ancients, which of course we'll be diving into today, 178 on the Void, 26 on the Primal's, and 53 on the Sacred. So lots of Ancients, lots of space. So hopefully we can get something decent. And yeah, we're definitely going to go all the way out there to the 6,300. Now, in terms of Mercy, let me pop that up on the screen here. If you'd like a copy of the spreadsheet, it will be linked in the description box down below. But as you can see, we're basically fresh off of a legendary. The last time I pulled Ancients was probably during the last 2x Ancients, and we got a legendary on the last 10 pop, I guess. And so we're fresh off a legendary. So the odds are relatively low, but it's a 2x, so you never know. We'll just see what happens. But if we get unlucky, then we'll just get a lot closer to Mercy, or we'll be close enough that a Pogo, Ancient Pogo, would make sense to participate in. So there could be a silver lining, even if we happen to get all epics. Honestly, though, would not be opposed to getting a bunch of epics because I do want to get a lot of points in the Champion Chase. So that is, again, not necessarily a bad thing. But of course, everyone wants to get some new legendaries or specific legendaries on their account, and I am no different. So if we do happen to get lucky enough to get a legendary, obviously wouldn't mind getting Glorious Palace here. And aside from that, I think my number one thing that I've mentioned in many, many months now is just an Undead Horde duplicate. It's someone who I have one copy of, or I guess 3 copies of in some instances. I just want to be able to empower my Rhodos. So maybe today could be the day that we pull like a duplicate Nethril or something like that, or Blood Gorge. I don't know. It doesn't really matter who, but just someone who can free up 2 of my Rhodoses from Faction Guardians, because I like to have the 10 speed on my Siphi just because I use her basically daily. But I could have a +2 Rhodos as soon as I get another copy of a Undead Horde, a duplicate copy of an Undead Horde champion. So let's go for that, and then Glorious Palace herself. And like I mentioned earlier, in terms of good return on points, I do want to get a decent amount of epics as well, so any and all duplicate epics for empowerment will be useful. But more specifically, I do want Dexicos. He's another Argonite champion for those who are unfamiliar, but he was a fusion champion, so I don't actually have a physical copy of him. But if we don't get Glorious Palace, then he's the next best thing with a revive 2 on a 4-turn cooldown and a perfect veil. And you can use this, I guess, as just a perfect veil. But yeah, he's a healer, reviver, increased defense champion for the faction wars, again thinking long term. So I'd bank him for future use in the faction crypt when it opens, but I don't have a copy of him because I used him for whatever fusion he was a part of. So I'd like to get a fresh copy of him that I could actually build eventually, in case we don't actually get our Glorious Palace. All right, enough of the preamble. Let's get into the action here. We've got tons of space, we've got tons of cash, and hopefully we can get some pretty, it's been a while since we asked for some good luck. So let's hope that we get a legendary today. But yeah, the goal once again is 6,300 points in the Champion Chase. We're starting off fresh at 0. So let's dive right in with the first 10 pop. Once again, we are fresh off of a legendary, so the odds are kind of against us, but it is a 2x, and so you never know what can happen. And 3 epics is definitely a solid start, so 820 points to kick things off. Geomancer, everyone's favorite kind of overpowered epic with his passive that can reflect damage, Giant Slayer procs and whatnot, and so super strong epic there. Gorgrab, basically your only option for Reviver in Undead Hordes if you don't have Siphi, which is still kind of unfortunate that that's still the case nowadays, but nonetheless, he is a solid Reviver, increased attack as well. Dark Aethel, pretty darn trash, so not much to say about her. Next 10 pop, here we go. Let's see what we can get. I'd like to see on average about 2 epics per 10 pop. That's kind of, oh, nope, legendary, even better. Oh, Elegaius. Well, actually, hold on, 1,000 points. I don't know if I have Elegaius. If I do have Elegaius, then this could be the undead horde dupe that we seek. So we'll have to check that later. I don't remember. I think Elegaius might be new, which is unfortunate in this instance. I mean, unfortunate, I guess, to get someone new. But yeah, even after the multiple buffs that she's gotten, she's just kind of meh. This lockout can kind of be cool. Like if you share the same affinity, then you get targets on, you put their skills on cooldown, and then you block buffs. And it's like, I'd rather just a normal lockout, right? And so she's just underwhelming champion despite being buffed a few times over the years, so kind of sad, unfortunately, for her sake. We got Xelotol as well. AoE sleep, kind of mad, but faction wars, maybe if you need the soft form of CC, can help. Alika, super strong for like Curse City niche content, where she has a really strong hitting ignore defense on a 2-turn cooldown, but more importantly the AoE lockout, kind of like Basher. So you can build up a little bit of accuracy, she can do some damage, and she can lock out waves, so a little bit of CC. At the end of the day, Legendary is great for the points, so we're not going to complain. 1,800 points now in the champion chase after 2 10 pops, so once again, can't really complain. And this might be a very, very good thing. I just cannot for the life of me remember if we have Elegaius on my account. Usually I'm kind of good with that, knowing who I have and who I don't have, but in this case, it's not really coming to mind. Ator, terrible champion, but Thylesia, decent champion. She's kind of your accessible debuffer when it comes to the Knights Revenant faction. AoE decreased defense on a 3-turn cooldown that does not require any books to be on a 3-turn cooldown. Or I think it doesn't require any books to be 100% chance. I think that's correct. But yeah, decent debuffer for the faction. I think that was 500 points, so we're at 2,300. So we're moving right along. We're about a third of the way towards the 6,300. Of course, we're just going to pull as many ancient as it takes to get there. These are relatively expendable, so it's not a problem. Another legendary! Ooh, a duplicate Stultus Dragonbane. Okay, it's been a long time since I've seen him pop out of a shard. He was 3 or 4 years ago, guaranteed champion, and I went for him, and back when he was a little bit more meta. I mean, he's still meta in terms of like Dragon hard mode, even though I don't personally use him there anymore, but super strong legendary champion, really strong passive, like I mentioned in Dragon, where he basically reflects all the debuffs that the Dragon puts on him. He's great for soloing that. You just carry him to the boss, and he just sits there and reflects all the poison, and the Dragon kills himself. But he is also a decent nuker in his own right, provides his own increased defense, AoE stun akin to like Scylla the Drakes, and the little Termio suppression potentially onto the A1. So super solid champion. I use him for like Doom Tower wave clear on auto just because he's tanky. He cannot have decreased defense placed on him. He has increased defense for himself. He's a decent nuker, but also the AoE stun for a little bit of CC. Vala as well, decent for like really niche content. I'm talking extremely niche, Curse City only basically, but she is kind of a weak debuffer who has AoE decreased defense, but it's not 100% chance to land, and so she's just really unreliable. But when you're dealing with RNG that is the Curse City, sometimes enough RNG is enough. All right, so 2 legendaries so far. Can't complain despite being fresh off a legendary. We got 2 more. We're at 3,200 points now in the champion chase, so practically, or yeah, no, we're halfway to the 6,300 in what, 40 ancients or something? This is ridiculous. Great rates. Cannot complain no matter what we get after this at this point. Obviously we're probably due like an all blues. Oh, no, not apparently not this 10 pop, but eventually we should get an all blues to kind of counteract the good luck that we've gotten so far. Another 500 points here. Rearguard Sergeant, always like to mention she's kind of one of the, the better earlier account epics if you happen to get her with the ally protection. She's great for a nested ally protection team with the ally protection on 3-turn cooldown. As well as a potential for AoE decrease attack and then decrease defense on the A1. Elisanya, basically her only claim to fame is Mikage, so that is her main use case. Another 500 points, 3,700 points in the champion chase. And next 10 pop here, what can we get? 1 epic, 2 epics, nice. Vrask and Fane, decent. 3 epics. Jarang, not so much. 800 points. Okay, we'll take that. Jarang, yeah, just underwhelming champion. They've tried to buff, I mean, back when they used to buff epics, I should say, they buffed him and he's just like, meh, single target debuffer. That's just not really what you want to see in most cases. Fane, really strong. One of the strongest epic, like Demon Lord Clan Moss DPSs. You may have seen her featured on certain teams in the Coalition event just because she is that good. Vrask, kind of outdated, but nonetheless, he is one of the best healers in the game in his own right, for epics at least. All he needs is full crit rate and high HP, and every time he crits, he heals by 10% of his HP, which can be substantial. Used to use him way back in the day for a situation where you just needed a lot of healing, but nowadays it's a little bit easier to survive. We're at about 4,500 in the champion chase, so a little over 2,000 to go. So on average, I mean, that could be like 40 more ancients. If we get a string of a decent string of epics, it could be a little bit less, but we'll kind of see. Again, 2 epics per 10 pop is around average, so okay, 4 is definitely a good place to be. Notably, the Templar there banks us another relic keeper in the future. Pitiless one, trash. Gerard the Stone, trash. Karam is trash. But Gorlos Helma is your accessible debuffer for the Demon Spawn faction, so I definitely use him in Faction Wars. 1,000 points. We were at, I think, what did I say, 4,500? So we're 5,500. So under 1,000 to go now. So I think 800 points, and we're basically good to go. So that definitely brings us a lot closer to maybe 2 or 3 10 pops to get there. Is this the all blues? No, not quite. Another epic, another 2 epics. Okay, we're just hitting good epic rates. Can't complain. 2 legendaries, a bunch of epics, no all blues. This is a great session overall. But and Dahlia, once again, just like Elisanya, her claim to fame is a Lady Mikage epic. But Dur the Hungerer, once again, accessible reviver for the Demon Spawn faction. He is my reviver for Faction Wars because I don't have a Duchess on my account, so he definitely does work. This will probably be empowerment for my current copy of Dur. So by my math, we should be like 6,100, 6,200 or so basically 1 more 10 pop. Unless this is the dreaded all blues, we should be able to do it. So 1 epic, yep, and we're good to go. 2 epics. Anything from here on is a bonus legendary. No, let's not get greedy. Okay, 2 epics, and yeah, we call it a day there to the 500 points. But Wuji, she's okay. She kind of had a bit of a claim to fame for like Hydra, but she's really squishy. But she can like put counterattack on herself. Then you get AoE block buffs on the A1, which is kind of okay. But I think there's a lot of other champions who can kind of do that role. And then Bone Keeper, always hear that she does good single target damage, but never personally invested in her myself. So yes, the dreaded red dot in the index does mean that Eligaius is a new champion on my account, unfortunately. So I was kind of correct that no, we didn't have her in the past. So we did get an Undead Horde legendary, but it is not the duplicate that we seek. So Eligaius is new on the account. She's going to go straight into the reserve vault and have absolutely no plans to use her, unfortunately. And then, of course, we got the duplicate Stultus, who I guess we can do that now, actually, before we get checking on the champion chase. Stultus is a Banner Lord, so looks like we have 10 out of 10 on the Bannerlords finally. So there you go. That's a win. We'll take that. So 10 speed for the Bannerlord legendaries. I don't know who all that affects on my account that could be useful. Stultus is a bit faster, of course. Timit's a bit faster. Kodja's a bit faster. Don't really use Bannerlords all that much. I don't use Titus, for those who are unaware. Lord Champfort's a little bit faster, but that doesn't matter. Ronda's a little bit faster. Meh. I mean, it helps. Stats are stats. I'm not going to complain, but definitely don't have more of the powerful void legendaries when it comes to the Bannerlords faction. But hey, nonetheless, 10 out of 10. That is, I think, my 5th holy pop-ups. Oh my goodness, holy pop-ups. All right, I think that is my 5th faction that's 10 out of 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so 5 out of 15 that are practical Argonites. That's so far in the future that's not even worth considering. So we're 1/3 of the way ish. Well, over 1/3, because you can see lots of 9s out of 10s. But we're getting there slowly but surely. 5 years into the game, never ever getting rid of any duplicates, and we're only at 5 out of 10 factions at 10 out of 10, which might surprise you. But that's the nature of free to play, baby. But yeah, so Ogryn Tribes is like the worst. I don't know. I just cannot pull champions from this faction at all. Anyways, I digress. So let's check in on the champion chase. I hope my math is correct and we should be done. We should be all the way beyond 6,300, probably 67, 6,800, somewhere around there. 69, close enough. Nice. But yeah, we get to claim all 300 of the points, some epic chaos ore as well. We're going to save the energy for champion training that we mentioned earlier. One could argue that I could go out there for, we're so close to the mythical tome that I could go to 8,000, but honestly, at this point, it might surprise people given my track record, but I haven't pulled a mythical in a long time, relatively speaking, that I need to book, and I have 19 mythical tomes at the moment, kind of waiting for the next one, if ever. So having 20 versus 19 doesn't really make that much of a difference for me. I don't really feel compelled to do that. I don't really need more. I could fully book out basically 2 mythicals if I were to get 2 new mythicals on my account, which is going to hopefully, which should take a good while for that to happen. And so, yeah, it's just, it could be worth it long term, but I just don't really feel compelled to chase mythical tomes at the moment just because I haven't pulled anyone in recent days. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's summoning session. So we did not get the 10x champion as expected, but we got 2 legendaries fresh off of Mercy. So that's the power of the 2x sometimes. Like I said, you never know what can happen. It doesn't really matter where you are. Previous results don't affect future results when it comes to RNG. But hey, 2 legendaries, duplicate for Bannerlords, finish the faction guardians there. But and we did get an undead horde, technically, just not the one I was open for. But hey, you know what? Now we have a slightly better chance of getting a duplicate next time we get an undead horde champion. Maybe that's the silver lining. I don't know. However I want to think about it. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below if you were pulling this weekend and what you got from your summons, assuming you were going for the Titan event points or some subset of the Titan event points on your account. Hopefully you're at least as lucky as I was. And as always, if you did enjoy this video, then be sure to hit that like button down below, really just help out the channel, and feel free to hit the subscribe button down below as well, if and only if you're enjoying the content on this channel for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching and have a good one.